Out with the old, in with the new. Right now, we're talking the future of the DCU. So the year was 2013. The Man of Steel came out. The so-called Snyderverse came to being, and in the years after the Man of Steel, there was good and bad films. You could argue BVS, Batman versus Superman, very divisive, and you could throw in Wonder Woman being one of the better movies up there with the Man of Steel, and then there were box office bombs such as Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad, and then of course
So
we had,
confusing.
and then of course we had the shambles of Justice League and an unfortunate tragedy of Zack Snyder's daughter, which resulted in rewrites and a marbleization of Justice League. But then we got, after much fan
Yeah.
backlash and support, uh, we got to see Zack Snyder's true vision of his Justice League.
I just real quick, Zach, I'm sorry. I really loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. I didn't care that it was 4 hours long. I could have watched it if it were 6 or 8 hours long. I would have taken a break, but I really loved it. That's all I needed to say. Thank you.
I'm a massive fan of that movie as well. I mean, it's kind of sad that that's the last of the Snyderverse we'll
I
get
don't
to
know.
see for the time being.
There's a huge campaign for Netflix to buy it, and I'm like, come on, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think it's going to work with Warner Brothers and all.
No,
I mean,
there's
yeah.
no way.
there's no way.
Yeah.
but it just in essence, I kind of trying to summarize in the beginning. It's been a train wreck of sorts with some pleasant stops along the way, but for the most part,
that's putting it nicely.
It hasn't been cohesive. We could all agree on that. But I'd say out of the Snyderverse movies, Man of Steel's up there with me, and Justice League. However, I think it's time to move on to whatever the future holds for this new DCU. I'm very cautiously optimistic. Seeing that slate of movies and shows, we now have James Gunn and Peter Safran at the helm as chairman of the DC studios, and now we of course Warner Brothers slash Discovery. They've canceled a number of the HBO Max shows, including Stargirl, the Swamp Thing initially, and then
Swamp Thing got canceled a
long time ago, before the merger. But there's just a host of shows that they canceled. Titans, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's kind of the end, the beginning of the end, and they're just starting fresh. So I guess your guys' understanding of what is in store for the DCU, what has kind of popped out in your minds?
If I may. So I'm looking at the graphic you sent me, Zach.
Yeah, and just explain just what you see for the listeners, what the graphic shows.
Yeah, so it's looks like it's split into three different tiers, I guess. You got the universe reset, you have the what is it, chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, and then DC Elseworlds. First off, I really enjoy and like the name Elseworlds. I don't know why. I really like that name. And I like the idea behind it, where we have these movies that aren't part of this whole universe that James Gunn is trying to set up, where we have, like he mentioned in his little thing, that they'll be played by the same actors through different movies, blah, 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 blah. It's just their own thing. Even Teen Titans Go is in there. I don't know if you guys have seen Teen Titans Go before. It's actually pretty funny if you sit down and watch it. It's for kids though.
The show's been going on for like 8 seasons, it seems like, right?
Yeah, it has been. And they have a movie called Teen Titans Go to the Movies. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's really funny. It's actually got a cameo from Stan Lee in it. It's so funny. He's
That's
like, "Oh,
funny.
I'm here for my cameo," and then they're like, "This is a DC movie." He's like, "What? A DC movie?" And it's so freaking funny.
That's hilarious.
But we if looking at this graphic, and like you said, I don't. You said you didn't think it was an official DC graphic. That it's just something that somebody had put together. Which I mean, it looks great. So we with the universe reset, he did mention the Flash being like a something that's going to reset the whole DC EU. I don't know if he's still calling it that. Um,
I think they've changed the name too.
yeah. I don't think he's still calling it the DCEU, but the whole DC extended universe. So we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, looks like Blue Beetle and Aquaman. What is that called? The Lost, what is it called?
The Lost Kingdom.
Okay, that's what I thought. So that's gonna apparently reset. So that's gonna kind of get rid of all the stuff that
They're
came
gonna
before it.
Yeah, they're gonna Days of Future Past this.
Yeah, I mean seriously.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, Blue Beetle, Aquaman. I really don't see the point. Like, I mean, of course, we're to watch them, but what is? Are they going to be preludes and connecting in any subtle way to what's to come after the Flash? I mean,
I would.
It seems like Flash will be the last movie to matter to actually result in this
Well,
universe reset.
Yeah, that's kind of how
Well,
he.
the way that I understand it is
Yeah.
part of James Gunn's goal for this is to do what Marvel can't, which is to adapt comics to the screen. Like Marvel's done a fantastic job with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they're not the comics. You know, they are very much a film universe based off of these characters. And I feel like James Gunn's goal for this is to actually create like comic book adaptions for film, instead of just creating a Marvelized extended universe. It probably will have overlap, but I feel like that's what he's trying to do is be more true to the source material, which I think explains a lot of the change up, yeah, energy wise and, like darkness wise versus light wise. I think I think he's going to focus more on being more comic, um,
Centered.
yeah, comic centric.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
getting a vibe of more of a light feel compared to what we've had in the past, which is
Well,
great. I think we'll have a good mix.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is that Marvel did a fantastic job with the MCU. And so the people over at DC was like, "Oh my God, we got to catch up. Oh my God, okay, what is Marvel not doing? What is Marvel doing? Okay, well they're lighthearted and funny, so let's be super dark and serious. Let's be super, in our feelings and be dramatic, as opposed to just focusing on creating some good content. They were the very essence of the DCU was made to contrast Marvel. I don't think it would exist if Marvel hadn't created what they did. And so I think it's good that they're stepping back and putting someone at the helm who's able to see the DC properties for what it is and not feel like he has to compete with Marvel and make something for by DC for DC fans.
Yeah, except he is kind of competing with Marvel because even though he might be more true to the source material, he's still trying to create this extended universe within the film world where we have movies, seeing
Of
other
course.
heroes and stuff in there. And all I mean his lineup is interesting, don't get me wrong. But he's still trying to with this section of the DC stuff, that's his kind of whole goal, and it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be fun to watch, I think. And
I'm
and
not saying I'm not saying that he's going to abandon the interconnectivity like Marvel's done. This obviously is in competition with Marvel, and it obviously is going to be using some of the efforts for the strategies that they pioneered. But what I'm saying is, I feel like he's being more true to the source material of the comics and not worrying so much as contrasting Marvel as he is building his own foundation for the DC itself.
Yeah, I would agree. To speak on the thing you mentioned about how they DC, they wanted to just contrast with Marvel and be dark and brooding. I didn't mind it too much.
Me neither.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think the most different movie out of them all was probably Wonder Woman 84 and Suicide Squad, to be honest. I mean, they just in terms of tone, they're completely different from everything else. And then some of the comedic relief from Aquaman. But I feel like all the Marvel movies, from the ones I've seen, they all have a similar formula to them.
They do.
The comedy, the types of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like DC, for the most part, had a consistent tone as well, except for a couple of the outliers. So I think, and I hope that there's a good mix of tone. Mm-hmm. James Gunn has expressed in an interview with a publication saying that he's going to give freedom to each director, so each movie might look and feel different, which is
I think that's cool. Great.
Fantastic.
That's a great idea.
And I think DC, I liked that. Let me rephrase. I'm not against it being dramatic and broody. I just felt like they are dramatic and broody to offset Marvel, as opposed to choosing that as an aesthetic themselves. It was comparing and contrasting, as opposed to this is the best outlet, or this is the best material for our story. I feel like they're very much trying to get out of the shadow of Marvel, and that came through the broodiness, as opposed to creating some serious broody films for the sake of the universe itself.
Yeah, there was just overall lack of cohesion in a end game for the most part. It was rushed, the DCEU.
Yeah, it was rushed. It was totally rushed.
It was 2013 Man of Steel. I think 2017, wasn't it, for Justice League?
They Marvel created movies for Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Incredible Hulk, and then they released the Avengers. But DC created movies for Batman and Superman, and I think Wonder Woman before Justice League came out, and then they just introduced the Flash and Cyborg. And I think that was kind of a at least give us a Flash movie before you throw us.
Wasn't it just like Superman and Wonder Woman?
Oh, you're right, because Batman and Superman were introduced together. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think we needed a solo Batman film.
Yeah,
before
I agree. Like we could at
BBS.
least gotten Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the big three, if you will, to have their own solo movie, and then maybe. But I think it would have benefited him more if we would at least had gotten a Flash movie in there too. Because Cyborg, I don't know what you could do with Cyborg, to be honest with you. Like, he's a great superhero, but I don't know, giving him his own movie. It's kind of like trying to give the Incredible Hulk another movie,
It'd be cool if they did something like Eagle Eye. I could see him in a movie like that.
I feel like the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Cyborg was kind of one of the main protagonists. Like, we got to learn more of his story, his background, how he came to.
We kind of had to
Cyborg,
right? Yeah. We kind of had to, because we didn't know much about him, because there was no movie for him. Like everybody gets their own movie before they're introduced into the Avengers. Like, even in Phase 2, we got I don't remember exactly what Phase 2 consisted of, but there's Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and whatever, where they each got their own movie before Civil War happened, and we got to see them first. And then even before Endgame, we got a Captain Marvel movie. So it's like, give us this one thing so we can learn about them, so that we're not having to learn a whole new character in this movie where we have to learn in this movie where we shouldn't have to learn about new characters.
Keep it moving for everyone.
Yeah, it's like every time we have to watch a Batman origin story before Batman starts, or a Spider-Man origin story before Spider-Man starts. Like, we've seen it before, we've seen it 100 times. Just go start with the movie.
Exactly. And with Superman Legacy being the first movie in the Gods and Monsters Chapter 1 slate, we have a July 11, 2025 release date. That's the only release date it looks like we know of when it comes to Chapter 1. And Gunn made it apparent that this is going to be a reimagining of Clark Kent and Superman.
Right.
Hence why Henry Cavill's doesn't fit his vision. It's going to be a younger Superman that is a cub reporter, and adapting to life as a civilian and being
A superhero.
trying to save the world, being a superhero.
That's
And
cool.
It's not going to be an origin story. I'm sure they'll certainly make references to his origin. Of course, you can't do away with that. I mean, but for the most part, it's going to be a fresh take and probably a bit more. I'm going to guess not as much action compared to Man of Steel. And there's no casting announcements.
I was
for
about
any
to
of the
ask. I was like, do they
shows
have an
yet.
actor for that yet?
No, the only actors that they've confirmed for the new projects are Viola Davis reprising her role as Amanda Waller for the
Lame.
Suicide Squad, but she has her own show come out, and then I think John Cena as Peacemaker. It's an interesting. Okay, we're going to get rid of Cavill and these other shows, but let's keep my baby Peacemaker.
He's gonna be the
Thanks,
backbone
man.
of the new DCU.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Instead of Batman, it's gonna be Peacemaker.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
jeez.
what are you guys hoping comes out of a new Superman? I mean, just looking at the title, Superman Legacy. I mean, what does it spark to mind to you? I mean, just the font looks very hopeful and kind of takes me back to like the Boy Scout
to me,
version of Superman.
just looking at, and I think this is the picture they showed on his. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it?
No.
Okay. Did you see the picture they showed on the announcement with Superman? He's like sitting on a cloud.
I see it.
back.
I see it. I have the graphic pulled up. Yeah.
I think that's the one he showed was All Star Superman.
Yes.
And just looking at that, I kind of it gives me a lighter feel as far as like versus Man of Steel, which was all about Zod and killing and all this other crap, and I liked Man of Steel. Don't get me wrong, the action was awesome in that movie, but this kind of gives me a word I mentioned to you earlier, Zach, was I'm okay if they Shazam it, where they took Shazam and made it, and it's probably because he's a boy in real life, but
Shazam, yeah.
they just it was funny, it was good. The one thing about DC I don't care for is, as opposed to like logic and they get their powers in a logical way, they have to deal with like gods and stuff and like the seven deadly sins and all this stuff like in Shazam. I don't like that aspect of it, but I deal with it. But like other than that, like the movie was really funny, like Shazam was. So that's the kind of hope I have for these projects coming up, and that's kind of what I see with Superman, because Superman has been done to death, like with the early, whatever, what was it, 1930 or something, where he was live action, but when he flew, he was a cartoon. I don't know if you've seen that. Like,
I've seen clips. Yeah,
yeah,
it was kind of seamless, and I felt
it
like the
was.
animation was great.
It was. It just, that's just what we got at the time. Was if we want Superman to fly, it has to be animated. All the way to the last thing he was in, which was technically Black Adam, but before that he was in what, Justice League? Was that the last movie he was in?
Yeah.
Henry Cavill. So like he's been done to death. So I'm really hoping this kind of flips it and like gives us something that's gonna, I don't know, be good, and it's gonna be new and fresh for Superman.
I think they could have gone with the title Superman Reborn. It kind of gives off the same vibe as Legacy.
Well,
I feel like it's going to definitely be a lighter in tone movie. Just looking at the comic, I mean, you see Superman smiling, and it looks like a guy in his mid-20s.
Well, he could have done something like they did with the Spider-Man when with Tom Holland, where there's Spider-Man Homecoming, right? And it's kind of like a nod to Spider-Man coming back to Marvel / Spider-Man being at home in New York. I don't really know exactly, but and then they did Far From Home, which was him, fighting crime in Europe, and then they did what was the third one called? Spider-Man. Oh my God! Now that we're
No Way Home.
No Way Home, right? Because we have these guys that come over from it. So like they could have done something like that where it's like Superman Reborn, Superman something, I don't know what the second one would be called, and then Superman Legacy. That idea sounds kind of cool. But I like the name Superman Legacy.
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't start off with some massive world destroying villain. Let's say Brainiac for
or
a
Zod.
different a movie down the road, or Zod. But I definitely want to see Brainiac in live action. I think that's one of the, if it's written well, one of the greatest villains of them all.
Real quick, Brainiac has been in live action in Smallville, but not the Brainiac you know.
And a Brainiac, he has been also in Krypton, the show, which was short lived, and I enjoyed that version despite the kind of campy dialogue.
Yeah.
But I want to see on this like the big screen. Um, any other thoughts about Superman? I mean, that's going to be the foundation for sure. I think before Legacy comes out, I believe one of the animated series is going to be coming out before, if I'm not mistaken. It might be Creature Commandos, not for sure. But let's talk about one of the animated shows. But I want to first mention how Gunn said that whoever is going to be playing the live action, the goal is for them to also do the voice for the animated shows, which is kind of cool. I mean, hopefully he stays true to that. And I don't know how they can, because there's some actors have obligations perhaps elsewhere, but maybe their contracts.
I mean, it's easier for people to do voice work than it is actually acting. Like you get them in a booth for 2 hours that you can film half a season.
Yeah, it does sound cool.
I think it'd be easier for them to do that.
Yeah, it does sound cool, and I really hope that he like you said, he
follows through,
stays true. Yeah, stays true to it. But and I don't know if it's more of a
it sounds ambitious.
It does sound a little too ambitious, and like hardly ever do we hear someone come in from a live action version and do an animated version. The closest thing I've ever seen to that would be like Tobey Maguire voicing himself in Spider-Man video games, or Christian Bale voicing himself in Batman video games. And it's the only time I've ever seen it when they do it themselves.
Various Marvel actors voice themselves in the What If series.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I like
yeah, I know Benedict Cumberbatch does. He voices himself.
Yeah.
I think Chris Hemsworth voices well, not himself, but Doctor Strange, and Chris Hemsworth does Thor. That's true. Well, let's hope to God that that's what happens. Because I mean, I think
it definitely can work.
What he'll have to do is whoever he hires, he's gonna be like, you're gonna have to do a so many picture animated deal too, where you have to voice your same character, and put it in a contract where they have to follow it.
Yeah, careful when choosing other projects.
Yeah, and
that's
the one thing that kind of sucks. And I've read articles on Marvel actors who sign on to do these Marvel deals, and they're like, man, but the only thing that sucks about it is we can't do other things. Like they have to fulfill their obligations to Marvel, and they can't do other projects. So I hope that it doesn't become a thing like that with these DC actors, and they get burnt out and phone in performances in animated projects because you don't see their face.
Did you guys read anything about like Creature Commandos or the Authority, any of the like more obscure looking titled projects? Creature Commandos has one of those characters that was in the Suicide Squad, that rat looking creature. I forgot the name of it, but Sean Gunn,
rat catcher.
Yeah,
Weasel.
Yeah, Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother. I guess played that, or at least mocapped that character apparently. Yeah, but I guess he's going to be doing that character, but in the animated version. But
that's cool. I thought Weasel was
Creature Commandos. It's like a ragtag group of.
Where have we heard this before?
Yeah. yeah.
But I will say one thing about James Gunn is he's really good at taking these obscure properties and being like, I'm going to put it in the forefront and, make you check this out and you're going to love it. And we do, like Guardians of the Galaxy specifically, where
absolutely
people I'm sure had never heard of them. I only heard of them just because I used to go comic book shopping a lot back in the day, and I would just run across them. I never really read them or anything, but there's people that never heard of most of these heroes, especially Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, stuff like that.
Yeah, just look at on Wikipedia. The Creature Commandos are a fictional DC Comics team of military superhumans originally set in World War II. I'm sure they'll modify that to make it more modern day, but it just another team of heroes. That's what it is, with their own personalities. You could probably say the same thing for the Authority, which, looking at their backstory, they seem more cool than Creature Commandos. But the Authority looks like it's going to be a film.
I need to go comic book shopping. That's what I need to do. I need to go to Conway. There's a comic book store in Conway. I need to go check it out.
Just did you watch Swamp Thing when it was on DC? What do they call that before
DC
HBO Max?
Universe.
DC Universe. Yeah, did you watch that?
I watched it. I like that show. I really like that show because it was
going to be
very
the most different. It was a horror, wasn't it? A horror show
pretty
in a way.
much. Yeah, it was very. I really enjoyed it. It was bull crap when they cut it down. They just canceled after one season. But I mean, I kind of get it because like Swamp Thing looked really good, and I'm pretty sure all that was practical makeup and prosthetics
it looked
and
like
stuff.
it.
Yeah, and I'm sure it costs a lot of money. So, like one season, and they're like, "All right, well, we're gonna cancel it." It's like crap, you know. I really liked Swamp Thing, but I really want to start reading it because I think Swamp Thing's one of those characters that's just kind of I don't know how to explain it, but he's just there, you know, and he's very interesting. So I think I want to try to get some of his comics and check those out.
Yeah, I'm
I hope
hoping the movie
they
does it justice.
I hope they incorporate him in the new expanded universe because he's a really fun character.
Yeah,
And I think they have a lot of material that they can use with him, like Swamp Thing on the DC universe
well
platform.
they put him in. I think it was Injustice 2. I don't know if y'all played those games, but he was in it for a very short amount of time. And I was like, and I don't even think you play as Swamp Thing. You just in the story you just meet him, and he helps you with something. I think if I remember correctly, and I think that's just Injustice 2 that he was in. So like he's not in very many other things besides comics.
He's kind of a
Yeah, I know he's
cameo
in a
character.
one-off. Yeah, he's like a cameo character in like Harley Quinn. I think he like
Mm,
Ivy dated him for a while or something like that.
interesting.
Yeah, Harley
But he's
Quinn.
played for laughs.
I wonder if that's another thing is I wonder if they're going to keep Harley Quinn the TV show because I really like that show too. I don't know if y'all watch that, but it's funny. It's really
Not for
funny.
kids, I hear.
It's not, and that's that's another thing about DC that I enjoyed before James Gunn took over is like they weren't afraid to do the rated R thing. Like I really like I was like, okay, well, if I can't have a lot of rated R over here at Marvel, I can go to DC and get some rated R and see some cool stuff. Like with Titans, I've watched the first 2 episodes and like I never thought I would say this, but Robin is a badass. And it's because he's, they're it's a rated R show. It's it's a show that they don't have to worry about, not killing and not showing blood and not using curse words and stuff like that. And like Robin can be a badass. It's like it's something you don't see every day or say every day, but
He says F
Robin,
Batman.
yeah, he does. It's the very first episode. He says fuck Batman because he moved to Detroit.
You want to get to Batman, the Brave and the Bold? That's a title I've heard before. The name of a not only a comic but an animated
movie
series.
Right? Yeah. Oh, it was a series. Okay, cool.
Maybe it was
Is
a
it
movie.
on?
I think there definitely was an animated movie for sure.
Yeah, you're right. And I believe it's on HBO Max. I need to watch it too, man. I need to catch up.
So with this Batman, apparently with this Batman, it's going to be a little bit older than Superman. So he's going to be the father of Damian Wayne, whom is the child that Bruce Wayne had with Talia al Ghul. And do you know who Ra's al Ghul is from your Liam Neeson played him.
Well, I know him
He was
from. I know
from
more from the
Batman
Arkham
Begins.
games. I know more from
Arkham games.
Yeah.
Kind of the dark
Lazarus Pit.
behind the scenes character. Yes, yeah. But anyways, it looks like Batman Brave the Bold. It's going to have Damian Wayne as Robin. So
It's gonna be fun because Damian Wayne's
he's gonna be fun. He's a little snot, basically.
Yeah, he's a little kid.
Yeah. There's gonna be other Bat family characters introduced as well. I'm hoping we see Dick Grayson as Nightwing. I'm hoping we have Jason Todd as Red Hood.
Jason Todd.
There's so many opportunities. I want to see proper versions of these characters on the big screen. I thought, you've seen Titans.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I do know that Red Hood shows up in Titans, and I assume it's Jason Todd.
Yeah, it is. But Brendan Thwaites, who plays Robin, he eventually becomes Nightwing in that show, and I think he's way better than Chris O'Donnell is Robin.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
If
That's
that's who we're gonna
last time we saw.
yeah, if that's who we're gonna compare it to, then yes, he's definitely better than Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
geez.
Batman Brave of the Bold, I feel like it's going to be a great show. I think it's going to again fall on that mix of light and dark tone. I don't think it's going to be like the Matt Reeves very dark and broody aspect. It's going to have fun with it.
Is it supposed to be
I'm looking
a
forward
show?
to.
Wait,
it's going to be a movie.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. I see it at the bottom.
Yeah.
It says show or film. Anime. I can't read it. It's not big enough for me.
It says Batman Brave and the Bold film.
There we go. Live action series.
But-
okay, yeah. Okay.
So it seems like the emphasis will be on that relationship between a father and son, both crime fighters. If you look at the comics, if you've seen some of the animated movies with Damian Wayne in them, I think it's called Son of the Night. Where
I thought it was called Son of Batman or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But he cusses a lot. He brings back a decapitated. He brings back a head from some bad guy, and Batman is shocked and is trying to teach him the way so he doesn't fall down a darker path. I think Damian Wayne's supposed to be like a young teen, if I believe.
Yeah, I was thinking like 12 or 13, I believe.
And they're going to be very selective on who they choose if they want to have this person reprise the role for, I don't know, at least 5 years. Yeah, years down the line.
I mean, that's anytime you try to cast a kid who's going to be in a sustained series.
Yeah,
like the Stranger Things kids freaking turned into adults over a summer.
Well, it's because they wait too long to bring out another season.
Did they try to use de-aging for those characters at all?
They used de-aging in It. So the Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah. That's right. They did.
Was it the It chapter 2? They used de-aging
They
for
had
him, which
to.
is weird considering that he's like not even in his 20s when they filmed that, and they're already de-aging him.
Yeah. He hit
That's
puberty
the
like
point. Yeah, it looked really
puberty
weird.
hit him like a ton of bricks.
But what do you guys hope comes out of this Batman, and how you hope it sets itself apart from the Elseworlds Batman?
I like Robert Pattinson as Batman, but it would be nice to see something a little lighter. Just like pretty much anything is like slightly lighter, but I still want some of that broodiness. It'll be interesting to see something new, and I am excited to see Damian Wayne, to be Robin, and he's just a kid and blah blah blah. It'll be interesting to see that dynamic
Rebellious
between Bruce Wayne and his young son, trying to work.
Yeah, that's going to be they got to choose the right actors that have good chemistry. The father,
God, they do that.
And son. I mean, that's vital. Just like in the Last of Us series, which is off topic, but they have the two main characters have great chemistry. But there's some movies and shows where the two leads you don't feel anything between them. So I'm hoping we get something convincing with Batman, the Brave and the Bold. I think it's going to have, as I said, it's going to be more lighthearted. It's going to be more fun, and maybe more obscure villains, straying away from like the Joker and
I
all
hope
these other
so.
traditional
Calendar Man.
And
I
knowing-
really want,
knowing James
Calendar
Gunn-
Man, Plastic Man, Kite Man.
Condiment Man.
We need a new iteration of Mr.
Oh my
Freeze,
God, dude.
obviously.
Hype Man is on Harley Quinn, and it's so funny. That'd be awesome if they brought him into live action.
Kite Man.
Kite Man, yeah, he's
So-
just a guy with a kite.
Kite Man.
It's so funny.
So yeah, I want more of these fantastical villains, not these necessarily grounded people we've been getting for the past several years. It seems like. So maybe a Bane that actually looks like he's a hulking. Yeah.
Well,
even from the Batman and Robin movie.
I read something that Batista had talked to James Gunn about being Bane, and Batista was like, and that's the one thing I agreed with him on, is he was like, if you're gonna go this route with the DC universe, you need a younger person to play Bane. And so he kind of backed out, and I was like, oh, Batista, you said one thing I agree with, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm getting kind of tired of Batista, and I just saw a knock at the cabin, and I'm just like, the whole time, it just seems like when actors get one good role, and they're doing more interviews. They talk about things they want to do and things they should do and parts they want to play, and I'm just like, it doesn't matter, just take the parts you're getting. I don't know.
He feels
It's just,
typecast.
yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's like, dude, I don't really care to hear what you want to play. I just want to see you do stuff. I don't know. When you see them all like over and over, and the same with Brie Larson, it's like over and over. Oh, I want to play Samus in a Metroid movie. It's like, if there was going to be a Metroid movie and you were going to play Samus, it had happened already. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I'm just getting tired of seeing him all the time.
Yeah, you don't hear Henry Cavill saying, I want to be this and that.
Yeah, and I don't think
He's
I've ever
busy
heard him
too.
say he wants to do.
Yes, you do. He's spoken multiple times how he wants to be in Warhammer, which I think is happening.
Well, he's helming that project. Yeah,
But
that's
like,
his
yeah, he absolutely
upcoming.
does.
Okay,
But
he's doing it
he's
himself.
more humble about it. Yeah.
I would agree. It seems like Batista has
He's
kind of
complaining.
gotten in his head a little bit,
Yeah.
and I'm like, the only reason I saw Knock at the Cabin was because it was an M. Night movie, not because Batista was in it.
Okay, so John Cena, Batista, and who
Brie
else?
Larson.
Lady Gaga. He hates Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, I do. I do
Yeah.
hate Lady Gaga. I hate me some Lady Gaga. Like, guys. I really don't think I'm going to see this Joker movie.
Yeah, right.
I think you're being dumb. Personally, I think it's stupid.
I
It's
don't
gonna be a
know.
great movie.
We'll see. I'll probably end up seeing it.
You're gonna
But
pass over a fantastic movie just because you don't like Lady Gaga.
Well,
I guarantee you're gonna see that movie, and then later on we're gonna be able to pass. It's like, you know what, guys? I didn't think I was gonna like that movie. I didn't think Lady Gaga was gonna be really good, but I tell you what, she was okay.
I think
That's
that
what you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
say.
I think I'm gonna say the movie was good. It would have been better without Lady Gaga. Is what I think I'm gonna
Sure.
say. But you know
Okay,
what? We'll
whatever.
cross that bridge.
I think
We'll
you're gonna
cross
like
that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I will probably see the movie because I do love me some Joaquin Phoenix, and I love me some Joker, and I love Todd Phillips. But I will probably complain
it. What
about
would you do if you had a movie that had Joaquin Phoenix, Dave Bautista, Lady Gaga? It was directed by Dave Phillips.
Todd Phillips. I would probably.
What did I say?
Not Dave Phillips.
Dave.
Oh,
It's because you said Dave Bautista.
what would you do?
I would probably not watch it. There was a movie that came out with Lady Gaga in it with a bunch of good actors, and it was that Gucci movie. It had Adam Driver, Jeremy Irons, some few other
That was a
people,
bad movie.
and then
It's
Lady
like a
Gaga.
bloated movie.
Yeah, and then Lady Gaga, and I was like, I'm not going to see that.
It has one of the best transitions though ever. Like one of the most hilarious transitions.
Okay.
Because like some dude, they're like having an argument, and he like turns around to yell, and it's just like hard cuts to like a horn honking, like a car honking.
Oh,
It's hilarious. Like it's so poorly done. It's hilarious.
It's so poorly
oh, it's
done.
poorly done.
Well, now I got to see it. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to watch it ever.
Just for that transition.
Just for that one part, and then I'm out. I just don't care for Lady Gaga as an actress. I don't really care for her as a musician. I'm not a big fan of musicians becoming
I just don't like
actors.
Lady Gaga.
That's just like I saw her in American Horror Story season 5 with the hotel, and I really
Wasn't that her like breakout role, or wasn't that her
it
like
was kinda
introduction?
to acting, yeah. And I really, really, really had to push myself through it. Not just because Lady Gaga, but she had a hand in it, and like the whole series, that whole season wasn't that good. But Lady Gaga sure as heck didn't help. I'm just not a big fan of her. But you know what? I'm just a measly peon to her. She's the rich, famous one out there. So what do I know?
Any last thoughts about this new Batman? Even though we just really don't.
I
know
want to
much
talk about
it.
Lady Gaga. No,
I'm
I'm
hoping
good
they
on,
can keep
on the last.
maintain a consistent costume. What kind of costume we want? We've got the armored Batman suit.
I wanted to bring
I
that
want a
bat
cloth.
I was to say I want
Cloth
the Batflex suit back.
The bloated Batman.
That's my favorite suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite suit, I think.
It'd be cool to see him in more like just because I haven't seen it in TV before, like guerrilla warfare, like less. I mean, Patterson's Batman was closer, but maybe even more so. Make him even look more so civilian.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like have an actual utility belt with like guns and knives and stuff on it, or
he wouldn't carry
have
guns and
him wear
knives.
like ghillie suits or black suits, things like that. I don't know. I just feel like a more
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Christian Bale's was. He just kind of took like military stuff and painted it black, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it was a little more. It was a little more elaborate than what you're talking about. But that's kind of what he did. They tried to make it more realistic, so he took like that tank and turned it into a Batmobile, which is crazy, but whatever. I don't know who made that thing and why he has access to it, but whatever.
Yeah, the Nolan trilogy was action-based Batman, Reeves detective-based. What's going to be the
I think
term for this Batman? Maybe comic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that this Batman would be more toward um Snyder's Batman, where he didn't do a lot of detective work. He just kind of was there to pay for things and to sort of be sometimes be funny, but then also come in and like beat some people up.
Mhm.
I think
I know
that's
this
kind
is.
of
I know
where
this
they're
is
gonna
just
go.
chapter one, but I'm hoping we get a Justice League down the
The road.
the line. I
Well,
mean,
maybe
I
that's
think
what they're setting up. We if we still have the Flash and Aquaman and Blue Beetle, with Superman and Batman and Supergirl and Green Lantern and all these different things. Like, I don't see, I can see where it could be
yeah.
possible.
I just hope. It just kind of interested me how Shazam might continue to be Zachary Levi's Shazam might still be in this new DCU
I mean,
and
I think
on Aquaman.
I
It's gonna be
agree.
weird.
Well, I do think I think that Flash and Aquaman have a better chance than Blue Beetle and Shazam. That's for sure. But they might recast the Flash. Maybe I don't know.
they
Um,
should.
Do you think they
yeah,
should? Maybe aside
I
from
don't know, man.
Ezra's
Ezra Miller,
This
he's a
should be his last.
controversy.
No, he's off the walls, man.
He
Get
is,
him
is
out.
he is kind of crazy, but he is a good Barry Allen. But yeah, it wouldn't really bother me if they recasted him. Just like it's like with Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo. It's like
Or just not even recast him. Just get a different. There's different flashes.
yeah, just do
Yeah,
a new
Yeah,
Flash movie. Just say, oh well, this
not
Flash,
Barry.
we're gonna
No
we're
Barry. Yeah,
I bet you this Flash is a different universe than these other movies in Chapter One. Bet you that's how it resets everything.
that I think you hit the nail on the head. That is how they're gonna reset everything.
Yeah, it's just going to be a whole new universe, and we'll
I
create a
told you
new
they're
Flash.
they're gonna Days of Future Past it.
Hmm.
there's rumors of certain scenes at the end of the Flash being cut out that show that maybe Michael Keaton's Batman and this Supergirl that we see in the promos and other characters were trying to assemble a new Justice League, but they cut those scenes out because of
Well, hopefully they'll put
the
it in
the new DCU.
hopefully they'll put it in the home release then, because that would make me mad if they didn't. I at least want to see it.
Apparently, the Flash, according to James Gunn, it's one of the best superhero movies he's seen. I don't really see how he sees that, but I can't wait to see Michael Keaton as Batman once again in the suit.
I
That's the
would
only
really.
reason I want to see it is to see Michael Keaton suited up as the
Well, Ben
Batman.
Affleck's going to be in it too. Are you supposed to be?
Yeah, and apparently he's going to be in the Aquaman or in Aquaman as well. It's like what's the point of
Interesting.
seeing Blue Beetle and Aquaman? I think the Flash is, and after that, then
Well, I
it's like
think that's
the
the whole.
prelude.
I think
Yeah,
that's the whole point. Is just the Flash is where it's at as far as like resetting this whole universe, and the Aquaman and Blue Beetle and Shazam are just they've already been filmed, so we need to
filler.
release
It's
them.
we
Yeah,
got to we got to make money off of them
yeah,
somehow.
I
they've
guess
been
technically they
filmed.
could release them in the Elseworlds at this point, because if it's not part of the new DC expanded universe, they could still be considered as part of
Well,
the Else.
if yeah, that's true. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out what they're gonna do with it, because it's kind of a
Who
cluster.
knows?
It's kind of
It is.
it's still kind of a cluster. Even with James Gunn and what's his face, running it, it's still kind of messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing the slate for the DCEU back in the day when I was a mere teenager, and I was excited. But now I see this, and there's so many
Different.
options, and it's different. But you can't get too excited after we
I
saw what
can
happened.
I
The
can tell you
blunder
I can tell you that
DCU was.
I'm not excited for Waller. I don't care for Amanda Waller as a character, period, ever. I mean, I get her what she's doing there, but she is not interesting to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it's hard to see a series
I mean, I'm
entirely.
I might watch the
About her.
series, yeah, just to see what it is. But man, I'm just not
I
interested in
mean,
Amanda Waller. Just not even close.
She's in Peacemaker too.
it'll probably be like it'll probably just be like a serialized Suicide Squad. Like, here are the zany adventures of this week's Suicide Squad, and of course, all of them probably die by the end of the episode, and then the next episode is a whole new team.
Or it's yeah, maybe, and probably goes into her life a little bit. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I
In
don't know.
Peacemaker, her daughter's one of the main characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay. Let's. I do have a question I want to ask, but I'll wait. Zach, just
Go ahead, ask.
no, because it might go into a whole different thing. Let's
All right.
continue what we're talking about, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about regarding the chapter one gods and monsters? Anything more like stranger looking like titles we aren't familiar with, like the Authority, Booster Gold.
Booster Gold. I've heard of Booster Gold before. He was in Smallville, but I don't know too much about him. I think he's kind of, if I remember correctly, and even James Gunn talked about him a little bit. He's kind of one of like a Mysterio type character where he doesn't really have powers, but he goes. I think how James Gunn described him was he's a loser in the future, so he goes back to the past to become a superhero. And so that'll be interesting to watch because I do remember Booster Gold being in Smallville, and if I remember correctly,
Interesting.
he was like some sort of a TV star or something in Smallville. I can't remember exactly, but Booster Gold's one of those like one of the stranger DC characters. I think even stranger than say Swamp Thing or Creature Commandos. Like Booster Gold to me is one of the more obscure, and it's gonna be a live action series, so let's hope it goes really well and everything is good.
It sounds like he might be kind of an underrated
Yeah,
and a welcome surprise for
I
fans, maybe.
well
If he's a likable character.
he's kind of like a uh if I remember correctly on Smallville at least, he was kind of like very upbeat and stuff, but he probably has some demons and stuff that he has to because he's from the future. He was a loser then, and so
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's gonna be the inevitable comparisons to Henry Cavill, and if you want to say Ben Affleck, like whoever takes the mantle of the new Superman, I don't know. It's going to be hard to not making those comparisons. I mean,
it's the same. It's the same with every new
wild.
It's the same with every new Batman. You see it. You see a meme going, use this whatever it's called on Facebook, the like button, but the different emotions or whatever to tell us your favorite Batman. It's going to be the same stuff.
And this will be the first time we've had two Batmans on the big screen at the same time. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
That's true.
I mean, but do you think it matters that the audience might be confused? What James Gunn, I feel like, is going to have to educate the public going down the line as we get closer to the 2025, like the difference between Elseworlds and the DCU.
They'd be like, wait, there's that Batman, but what's up with that Batman?
I feel like for the future,
I don't know. I think our generation, the majority of people that's going to be watching movies today, are well versed enough in cinematic, culture that they'll realize like, oh, this is part of the main series, or oh, this is a one-off.
Yeah.
But don't you think for example, before like Joker 2 pops up, you'll see a little animation stinger of
I'm sure they'll make some sort of distinction for it.
Yeah.
They absolutely will make some sort of distinction. But I don't think there's going to be any major confusion unless someone not involved. I don't think anyone watching movies is going to be confused. Someone's girlfriend might be confused.
Well,
that's wait, why are we watching this Batman now? Like, isn't this different? But the people who enjoy these movies aren't going to be confused.
Why should it matter though if the audience members confused, even though we don't want them to be confused? Like, is that going to result in them not going to see?
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be. Yeah, people are just going to be like, that movie didn't make any sense. There was one guy, then there was two Batmans, and I don't know what's going on. That's bad. Ugh.
So they want to go see the future movies potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're just like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there are people who don't know what they're doing when they go into a movie like this. Like I went and saw Justice League, and at the end, we see Deathstroke for the first time, and I was like, "Oh heck Deadpool. Yeah!" And then Deathstroke.
No, but someone's probably gonna say Deadpool. Why is Deadpool in there?
No, no. Someone I just remember someone being like, Deathstroke? Who is who? Because someone in their group had said, "Oh, that's Deathstroke," and they're like, "Deathstroke? Who? Deathstroke? Deathstroke?" I'm like, "Why are you here? Why are you here?" And like, I went to see a Marvel movie in theaters, but they showed the first Ant-Man trailer in theaters beforehand, and then someone behind me was like, "Was that a joke? Was that like a joke trailer?" And I'm like, "Why? Why would you ever see a joke trailer in the theater ever?" So like they don't understand. Like Ant-Man started the Avengers, so for them to like in the comics he started the Avengers, and so like for them to wait so long to bring him in was kind of sucked. But it's like he got to come in, but then people just go in not knowing what they're looking at. They just go in because their friends are going or their boyfriend is going, and it's like I don't know. Like they probably when they went and saw Deadpool for the first time, they're like, "Who the hell's Deadpool?" You know, and the dude was like, "Listen, I don't have time to explain. Are you going to this movie with me or not?"
Yeah.
She's like, "All right, I'll go as long as we can go eat." There are definitely people who go into those movies. I'm sure, like you said, Jake, that the majority of people that go into theaters know what's going on, but there are the select few that are like that. You're like, "What? Why are you here?" Like, I don't understand. But
Yeah, there's going to be some periphery folks who are going to
yeah,
be really confused,
yeah.
I'm
Then
sure.
like, but what about Edward? I thought he was Batman. Like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, but this is a different Batman. But why? Well, this is a different
Yeah,
universe. But what?
girlfriends, parents.
Yeah, parents for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be
Have those
interesting to see all this.
Now, is
conversations.
this the Batman? Is this the Batman with Christian Bale, or is this the
Oh my
Batman with that
goodness.
young whippersnapper?
Where's
Uh,
Adam West?
People are still ripping Robert Pattinson for being the emo
I liked him,
Twilight
man. I don't
star.
care what anybody
Yeah.
says. Like it was on at my. We were eating here at my house, and and the Batman was on, and my mom was here, and I was like, "Oh, mom, look, there's the new Batman." She looked at it, and she just like had this disgusted look on her face. She's like, "I don't want to watch him as Batman, that Twilight." I'm like, "Mom, he's a really good actor outside of Twilight. Like, so is
Yeah,
Kristen Stewart. Like, they're both really good actors. You just have to watch them not in Twilight."
it was really disappointing when we went to see Batman in theaters. There's an older couple that sat in front of us. The husband was complaining the whole time, like literally complaining the whole time until about like an hour and a half through. His wife was like, "Fine, we'll leave." And so they got up and they left. And it was really
Wow.
sad because you could tell that like it was a movie that she wanted to watch, like she wanted to see it. And this old codger just couldn't sit still enough. Maybe he was
couldn't
sitting on his
could
balls. I don't know.
couldn't do it
But he
for
was
his
like,
wife.
yeah, he couldn't do it for his wife. And
Man, if
so
my
they ended
wife
up
was
leaving
like,
halfway
"I
through the
want to go,"
movie.
if my wife was like, "I want to go see Batman," I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's go."
Right?
Okay,
Just
so
having the opportunity to do something with someone you love should be
yeah,
enough. But,
exactly.
whatever.
But whatever. All right, Zach, what else you got?
I guess we could kind of wrap up with just quickly the DC Elseworlds, what the future holds for those movies.
I'm
You know, it's,
interested. I didn't realize that Superman and Lois was on there. So what does that mean for the other CW shows? I mean, I guess Supergirl, is it still on, or has it been canceled?
that's been out of the mix for a while now.
Okay, in the Flash, I haven't watched these
That
shows
isn't
in a
that going to
long
be
time.
wrapping up?
I
I
think
think
all
Oh,
the
you're
CW
right.
shows have
Yeah,
been canceled.
I think that the Flash is up. Yeah.
it's wrapping
Okay.
up its
Well,
final season or
what
whatever.
about Black Lightning and
Well, I think these are they're talking about the DC Elseworlds are still going on, like Black Lightning, that they don't have an exit. Like, there's no seasons of that anymore.
okay,
Same
so
with same with the Arrowverse.
it's
Yeah,
basically just Superman and Lois. Okay, interesting.
which I haven't watched, but I'm
I
really
haven't watched
no
it either.
interest really.
I've literally only seen them when they do Crisis on Infinite Worlds
Mm-hmm.
or Infinite Earths. When they did that, and that was cool to see Brandon Routh reprise his role as Clark Kent, and to see Tom Welling reprise his role as Clark Kent. Like that was mainly the reason I watched it was
Mm-hmm.
Tom Welling, because man, I love me some Smallville.
He could have been the Kingdom Come Superman, and just looking at
I'm
his
sure.
build.
His build and his age probably.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he's probably one of my favorite Supermen out there, and he
he
wasn't even
refused to wear the suit, right?
well. He wasn't even Superman until the last frame of the show.
He just opens his
He's opened his thing,
shirt.
runs
It looks
out,
like
and
looks like a T-shirt with the
with the
logo
Superman logo on it.
printed
Yeah,
on it.
it probably was, but
Yeah.
that's the only time you see him. And then, of course, you see him fight. I think it's Doomsday, but it's probably CGI because he's flying. But man, I loved Smallville, and so to see him like come back as an older Clark Kent that has given up his powers and is married to Lois Lane, I was like, perfect send off. It was beautiful.
And since we're already familiar with the Batman and Joker, like the vibes of those movies, I'm in a way looking more forward to Elseworlds more than the new stuff.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed the Batman and Joker. So, like you said, Jake, I will probably see Joker. I don't like to, I don't enjoy the fact that Lady Gaga's gonna be in it. But it's Joker.
I just don't understand what the movie is
It,
going to be. Is it really going to be have musical numbers
apparently it's
and
supposed to be a musical. I bet it's gonna be something like a dreamlike type musical movie.
all
Yeah,
taking
I would
place
imagine
from
that.
Arkham? You think just make
Yeah,
memories or something? I don't know.
possibly because I mean, if Harley Quinn's gonna be in there, that's how they
Yeah,
meet. Is an Arkham.
Quinzel, Harley Quinzel. Oh yeah, so
It's
Gaga's.
it's
I haven't.
Harleen Quinzel.
Harleen Quinzel, is she always in the comics? Do we know having issues in the mind, or did she get like just
I think
swayed by Joker somehow?
yeah, from when everything I've ever seen, she just kind of falls in love with Joker, and that's how it all starts.
Yeah,
And she
Joker.
just,
The Joker manipulates her.
God,
and she's just goes crazy from there. And I'm glad she did because she makes a great character in anything that you watch with Harley Quinn.
who's
Um,
gonna fall for Joaquin Phoenix? Like Arthur Fleck? Who? What?
I don't
Who's
know. I
gonna
guess
fall
we'll,
for that guy?
yeah, I guess we'll find out, won't we? And Teen Titans Go. Yeah, did y'all watch the original Teen Titans show ever?
Yeah, I prefer that because it
Yeah, me
wasn't
too.
a joke. It wasn't a joke,
Yeah, it wasn't a bunch of silliness, which
which is fun, but it's just not my cup of tea.
yeah, I've seen episodes here and there, and then I saw Teen Titans Go to the movies. Oh, and I saw Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go. That was a cool movie. I think
Oh,
I
I
actually
haven't seen
own it.
that.
Yeah, it's the original Teen Titans with Teen Titans Go, and they kind of help each other out.
Two different tones in one.
Yeah, and so it was pretty cool. And Teen Titans Go is like, yeah, it's aimed for kids, but if you watch it in small doses, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Awesome. All right. Any last thoughts about the future of DCU? And I mean, I guess a wait and see.
Yeah.
It's always fun to follow the developments, like the news articles or whatever's James Gunn. I like how he's very transparent on Twitter. He's always posting something uh, most days of the week and teasing things. Like one little Twitter poll he put up: should we use the red trunks for Superman or not? And he said in a disclaimer, like, this is not going to be an ultimate decision maker for us whether our Superman's going to be wearing the red trunks or not.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that. He's not very corporate, like traditional
Well,
corporate suit, which
I mean,
is excellent. He's a
he-
fan.
I was gonna say he's a creative. He's put these characters on screen, or not these characters, but characters like these on screen before. And
He's a good track record.
He's got a yeah, and he's got a different mindset. I think he comes from the creative side, where I'm assuming the other guy, what's his name, Peter Safran.
Peter Safran. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
produced a number of the DCE movie, I believe, as well.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I remember what I was going to ask about. What do you think? So, is the DC animated universe? I guess it's still just its own thing, huh?
I'm hoping that isn't touched because DC does great
With animated movies, they really
movies.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the son of
Batman.
Batman, Superman, Red Son, or whatever.
Yeah.
Where's Russian?
Yeah, I like that movie, and there's a few other random ones. Like I really like the Batman ones. Gotham by Gaslight's probably one of my favorite. And then Batman Ninja, but like then you have Justice League versus the Teen Titans, which was a good movie. So I don't know. I really hope they continue to make these DC animated movies, and so that we can enjoy those.
And I was comforted to hear that Gunn said that Elseworlds will continue to be different and stand out
Good.
from the main DCU, which is
I
vital.
enjoyed that. Yeah,
So
I like
That's-
that.
It's not
Honestly,
going to be like the
that's-
Elseworlds is going to die out. It's not.
The Elseworlds is what I'm most excited about from all this because I missed I miss being able to go see a comic book movie that's a self-contained story. That's
Yeah, I
not
know.
leading in or coming in from something else. I want to meet a character. I want to see them strive to overcome a problem, and I want to see them succeed at the end of the movie
And then not have to
without having
wonder.
to
Yeah, wonder if they're gonna go meet
without having to worry, who's
Superman.
coming next? What's the next bad guy? How is this gonna turn into a franchise? Like I just want to
Just
like
go and
I
watch
just
it
want to
and
go
go
see
home.
Spider-Man again.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
miss
Let's
that.
bring back Tobey Maguire. He said he wants to reprise his role, right? He said that.
Crap, the dog's about to.
I think if they ever bring Tobey Maguire back, they're gonna kill him.
They should.
That's the only way I see him coming back. Because
Yeah,
he's
they
gonna come back
should.
for one more, and then they're
They're gonna
gonna
kill him.
kill him.
Man, I don't know what movie would you do that in. It's got to be a
Spider-Man
prominent
4.
movie.
I mean,
Number
it's
four, like
it's
his
got to be
the Raimi trilogy.
Yeah, why
That'd
not?
be great. My goodness.
yeah.
It's like
Wow.
Logan, just like Logan. They made Wolf or what X-Men Origins, and then they made the Wolverine, and then they made Logan, and he died.
Would they allow that movie to be made?
I
You think?
don't think that those three movies are connected in any way. I'm just saying they're
But
three movies
but
just
still,
about.
yeah.
I mean, I don't see why not, but it's not like it. I don't know.
Let's be the
I don't
last
think
time
it'll
we
ever
hear
happen.
of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They should just let Raimi and Maguire do it and bring back Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I heard she hated
James Franco.
She hated playing Mary J.
Yeah, but she said
Her
she
character was kind of camp. To be
Yeah,
honest.
she said she
like
would
the
do it again.
damsel in distress.
Yeah, she was the whole time. She said she would do it again, though. I'm almost positive she said she would do it again.
That would be a great send off. I feel like it'd be like Logan in a way.
Bring back James Franco as Goblin Jr. Right?
Was he good at the end?
No.
Did he turn good? No.
No. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
He came
Yeah,
back.
he did.
Yeah, he did. I thought you meant like, was he good at it? I was like, not really. but
he
like
he
the
redeemed
actor.
himself.
Yes.
Or was
Goblin
he killed?
Jr. No, he was killed at the end of Spider-Man 3. He's
dead. Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't know what the villain would be then. I don't know. Maybe bring in someone from the MCU.
Or my mom.
Oh, your mom. what that?
What?
I think we had a great conversation about the future of the DCU.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
Just
could probably
therapy.
We could probably go on and on about it too. I bet.
Oh, we'll have updates in the years to come. Again, 2025 is a long time away, but also not at the same time.
Yeah, it's gonna show up before we know it, and I'm gonna be 39.
Dang,
old man.
39 by 2025.
Think so, because it's 2022. Yeah, plus 3.
Wow.
39.
God, you're gonna be up on that hill.
Because I seem like it.
I
seem like
40.
You're 30.
Thanks. I turned 40 2026, and I think that's when we're going to go to the World Cup because it's coming to the U.S. And I was
World
like,
Cup?
yeah. And I was like, oh,
Where's it
yeah,
gonna
that's
be?
my 40th birthday.
Arkansas?
Florida, Miami, I think.
Oh.
I think Miami is what my friend told me.
I don't think Arkansas could accommodate millions of people.
Anything like that.
All right.
Cool. Well, that's
Justin,
a good
you want
conversation.
to wrap up with all the promotions?
Oh, yeah.
Social media, OnlyFans, and all that.
Oh my God, excuse me. Yeah, so that was our awesome conversation about the future of the new DCU, if you will. So that was it. If you have any questions or comments or whatever for us, you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Amazon, and Google Podcast. YouTube are the big ones, and then a few other little ones that I can't remember right now. But if you have, any ideas or anything you want us to talk about, please hit us up on any of those. If you want to leave us a nice review, that'd be great too. Whatever, that would be awesome. I'm sure these guys would love it. And so, yeah, please hit us up, and we'll be back next week. Say bye, guys. Have a fantastic day. We need to start opening with the word fantastic, guys. We keep forgetting. I've noticed.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Anyway, have a fantastic day.
It's our new season 2 thing.
Yeah. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.